You mentioned earlier on as far as your journey with getting your company compliant with 800-171 and some lessons learned. What are some things you wish you knew prior to starting that journey that would have made your life a lot easier, the process more streamlined?
Yes. Well, I think what I said initially is read the manual, read
Yeah,
800-171, get the context. As far as lessons learned, I think it would have been good if I would have started with a data-centric approach of where is the FCI, where
okay,
is the CUI, and then move on to the technical security controls. I went
right,
technical security controls because I didn't understand the context of 800-171, right?
right,
So scoping is critical, understanding where the data is critical, and really 800-171 is a data-centric standard, not unlike HIPAA or privacy laws, where the
right,
regulated data is health data or privacy data. In this case, the regulated data is controlled and classified information.
right,
So it's a data-centric standard. The other item I think is I would have integrated into the business processes sooner than I did. And to be honest, it was a very small team, myself and another person, really myself doing a lot of this. And so I didn't have the resources to do a whole lot of other things. But I think integrating into the business processes sooner than I did would provide value, because as security professionals, we can only do so much. We need everyone else on board,
right,
right?
exactly,
And so, in order to achieve long-term success from a compliance standpoint, the organization has to be on board. You have to
right,
enable them, through SOPs that are not just security SOPs that they
right,
may never look at, but integrate into their SOPs,
right,
and add in your requirements so that when they look at their processes, they say, oh, yes, this security thing, we have to make sure we account for that, right? Because
right,
we're security minded, not everybody is. So
exactly,
you have to integrate into those business processes. And then the other item, and this is the critical one for defense contractors, whether you're a large prime or small, is
right,
prioritizing the compliance, the determination of compliance of your partners.
right,
And that is a hard one for a small contractor. We were a prime in many scenarios. So
mhm,
the large contractors out there, they already have their questionnaires. They already have, everything they need to
right,
evaluate a subcontractor's compliance. But for the small guy, you got to do all that stuff.
yeah,
How do you evaluate your compliance, your partner's compliance of 800-171? How do
right.
you make sure everything's above board and you're just not saying, do you have an SPRS score? Oh, it's a 110. That sounds great. Let's go.
Gotta trust but
So-
verify.
right.
Uh,
Exactly. Yes. Yes. I think those 3 points are some big lessons learned.
Yo, those are excellent lessons learned. And to your point with the data centric approach, that's why when we're consulting with clients, we always start with scoping. Because if you jump into the technology, going back to what we initially were discussing, is you're purchasing technology, you don't even know what you're trying to protect. You don't know if the technology compliant, you don't understand the requirements yet. So you
Right.
definitely don't want to start with the technology. You want to know, okay, where is that CUI or FCI coming into our organization? Who has access? What systems? Where it's stored? What partners have access? Oh, you have to
Yes.
do that hard work first. But it's so important. So many organizations, especially small organizations, they'll look at CMMC as, oh, this is an IT problem. We'll give it to IT. They'll handle it, get us all ready. We don't have to be involved. And that's not the case. It has to be the entire organization, and it has to be integrated into the processes and demonstrating that maturity. I really appreciate you sharing that insight.
Yeah. And something else I would mention is when I had you on my podcast, I really appreciated what you said about security questionnaires, and that if a prime contractor is responsible for implementing certain security controls, whether it's from the government or if you're working with another organization and they say, we want you to apply this security standard, you said it doesn't make sense if your subcontractors aren't also accounting for the same security requirements. So
Right.
this is not a new thing, this flow down situation.
Exactly.
It's not new. And I really appreciated you bringing that I got a light bulb there.
Thank you. And I've watched several podcasts with Dr. Ron Ross, and he mentioned the requirements follows the data, follows that CUI. So it doesn't matter how small the contractor is, it's a sub, it doesn't matter. They're trying to protect that CUI,
Right.
the confidentiality of it. And then you as a defense contractor or sub, wherever you're at in that supply chain, you have that responsibility because you have that sensitive data. So it's so important to understand that. If you receive value from this episode, I invite you to subscribe and like so that you're the first to know when we release new episodes. Also check out cmmcproof.com to learn more about the arsenal of resources that we provide to equip you to conquer CMMC. We'll see you next time.